Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for all of the comments and messages on my last video. Last week, I shared with you what a doula giver is. And if you missed it, a doula giver is a non-medical holistic practitioner that cares for those at the end of life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I also told you how if you're a heart-centered person, if you want to have a bigger impact in this world, and if you want to live a life filled with love and being of service to those at the end of life, this new career path could open up a totally new world for you. One that truly lights your soul on fire. One that brings deeper meaning and real purpose into your life like you've never experienced before. Hi, everyone. My name is Suzanne O'Brien. I am a registered nurse and have worked most of my nursing career in hospice care, which is end of life care, and oncology care, which is cancer care. And I have to tell you that I have been honored and privileged to work directly at the bedside of over 1,000 patients at the end of life. For me, working in this field has been the most rewarding work of my life. And now, with the Doula Givers Institute, I am teaching others how they can become these beautiful, non-medical, holistic, end-of-life care practitioners so that they can guide patients and their loved ones through this inevitable last phase of life. Working in this sacred space teaches you everything about how to live and how to live fully, from the wisdom you learn from those at the end of life, the things that they share with us, and the bonds that we form with them. There are so many incredible and beautiful gifts within this space. Becoming a professional doula giver not only changes the lives of everyone that you work with, but also leads to so much personal growth and transformation for you as well. It is a life course. Today, I want to show you how anyone can do this work. You do not need a medical background, as this is a non-medical profession. If you have the calling to work in this space, we can teach you everything you need to know to do this successfully at Doula Givers Institute. So right now, I am going to share with you the 3 phases of end-of-life model of care that we teach in our certification program, as well as I'm going to teach you a technique that we use each and every time we are visiting with clients. The 3 phases of end-of-life are the shock phase, the stabilization phase, and the transition phase. Breaking down each phase of end of life is the foundation of our professional training, allowing us to teach our doula givers the interventions to use for comfort, the highest level of comfort specific to each phase. So understanding these phases allows our graduates to identify where exactly a patient and family are in their journey so that they can be the best support to them immediately. Then, on top of that, we also will teach you the 3-question technique. If you only ask these 3 questions every time you're on a visit with a patient, you will be a phenomenal doula giver. This is amazing. This training is packed with so much advanced knowledge, but this simple approach to assessing your patient on every visit makes all the difference in the world just on its own. So what are they? Question number 1 is this: are there any acute issues? An acute issue is something that you want to think about like an immediate need. You can think of it again as something that is most immediate need in front of us. An acute issue is something that needs to be handled right away for optimal comfort. Pain would be an example. Exhaustion would be an example. Nausea is another example. Those are, again, great examples of acute issues. You can also think of them as immediate needs. The second question we ask is, are there any safety concerns? There are always 2 things that are always going to happen during the end-of-life process that are major safety concerns. The first is that one day the dying person will not be able to stand and or walk anymore. So the risk of falls becomes so much greater. The second major safety concern is that the dying person will lose the ability to swallow. And these are two huge safety related issues that, with good assessment and symptom management, we can take proactive steps to prevent something really awful from happening. And that is what we need to be doing. And the third question is, what is the support system in their home? I'll tell you this, proper end of life cannot and should not be done by one person alone, yet I see it'll happen all the time that way. And so we want to make sure that there's enough support for not only the patient, but also the primary caregiver. It is very easy for family caregivers to get burnt out quickly, and so we want to establish a rotating support system that allows for rest and self-care. This can completely transform a negative end-of-life experience into a positive one. And doula givers are instrumental in allowing that supportive rotation to exist. I always will say that time is not on our side at the end of life, and that we only have one opportunity to have it go well. So for our doula givers to be able to walk into any situation, identify what phase of end of life their patient is in, and then to ask the three questions so that they can address any acute issues, put safeguards in place for major safety concerns, and get a solid support system in place is really such an incredible thing. If you can do this, you will be a phenomenal doula giver. We have had students share that when walking into the home of their first patient, which is such an exciting moment, they knew exactly what phase of end of life they were in and knew exactly what to do to help this family. There is no better feeling than being able to bring light into such a dark time for others, because again, we cannot go back and do this over. We only have one opportunity for this to go well. If it goes badly, that family will remember that forever. But if it goes well, then they will remember that forever. So please know that anyone with a compassionate heart and a desire to be of service can do this work and do it successfully. This is truly a calling, and the only thing we can't teach you at Doula Givers Institute is the compassion needed to serve those at the end of life. This movement is growing rapidly, but this is still just the very beginning. And as I shared with you last week, there are so many people that need support, and the elderly population is projected to grow exponentially over the next several decades. Not only that, but there is a massive gap in care that currently exists in the mainstream end-of-life care system. I refer to this as the hospice gap. Recently released Medicare data has revealed that a hospice nurse or aide is only in the home of a hospice patient approximately 30 minutes per day on average during in-home hospice care. This equates to 2% of the day, which means that patients and families are navigating the end of life on their own the other 98% of the time in most cases. The end of life is 24/7, and this system is not providing sufficient support to create positive outcomes at the end of life. I saw it every day. We can and we must do better. Doula Givers Institute is establishing the gold standard for holistic, non-medical end-of-life care practitioners who can work as adjunct support to traditional hospice services to create the best possible outcomes for patients and their families. These professionals are trained to know the nuances and the progressions of end-of-life disease processes so that they can be the eyes and the ears of the hospice care team and alert them at the first sign of change in a patient's condition. This is the doula giver's difference and means everything. Doula givers are the best answer, and they are the only answer to helping a fragmented healthcare system that is struggling to meet the needs of our elders and those facing the end of life. It is important to remember that the end of life is not textbook, and there is no single end of life journey that is exactly the same as another. Having a comprehensive and thorough educational foundation as a doula giver is the best way to prepare yourself to be of the highest service to patients and their families if you feel called to work in this sacred space. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be trusted with guiding another human being and their loved ones through this process. And patients and families and the hospice care team and medical professionals have to be able to trust your expertise and know that you have been properly trained. In my next video, I am going to share with you some of the advanced training our certified doula givers receive on disease processes and their progressions, and I'm going to show you why having this knowledge is instrumental to success while working as a professional in this field. If you have a question or a comment for me, please write it below, and I'm going to do my best to answer each and every one of them personally. I want to hear your feedback, and I want you to share with me what's important to you and what you want to know. Also, please don't forget to grab a copy of the free Death Doula Guide or register for the upcoming free Doula Givers Level 1 End of Life Doula Giver Training. This is going to be on March 21st. And if you're interested in learning more about this unique and amazing profession, I will be on there live and I'm going to share about the opportunity. You can register for the webinar or grab your free guide in the video description right below or in your email. I will see you in the next video.